I had no idea how much I did not know about cyber warfare. So last month, I made this video with this great face, and that dig led me to this book. In August of 2013, the CIA director was woken up in the middle of the night because Iranian hackers were inside the Bowman Dam, in the PLC controllers, and it looked as if they might open the sluice gates. Pretty much the worst case scenario. But if I'm reading this story right, as it turned out, the Iranian hackers had actually misfired, and they were in the wrong dam. Not the Arthur R. Bowman Dam in Oregon, but they were in the tiny 20-foot Bowman Avenue Dam in New York's Western County. Like, they accidentally hacked the wrong dam. Awfully lucky, but that is just the start. The year of the Bowman incident, it was hard to miss the young Iranian hackers popping up at industrial security hacking conferences. I'd watched in shock the following day as a young Iranian programmer named Ali Abbasi took the stage and hacked into the computers that controlled the power grid in 5 seconds. With his access to the power grid, Abbasi told us, he could cause all kinds of destruction, sabotage data, turn off the lights, blow up a pipeline or a chemical plant by manipulating its pressure gauges and temperature gauges. I just got to the chapter about the grid. In 2012, Russia had started mapping out the US electric grid. And over the course of just a few months, the attacks expanded to include employees at electrical utilities who had direct access to the computers that controlled the power switches. Under current conditions, timely reconstruction of the grid following a carefully targeted attack, if particular equipment is destroyed, would be impossible. And according to government experts, would result in widespread outages for at least months to 2 years or more, depending on the nature of the attack. No electricity in entire states of the country for years or more. Think about the food systems, think about the healthcare systems, water systems, transportation systems, heating during the winter. And they didn't just target the grid. They got into all the critical infrastructure in the US. They had successfully compromised industrial control software companies, and they had Trojanized the software updates that made their way into hundreds of industrial control systems across the country. Like the official updates coming from the companies themselves that are supposed to keep your software safe. So it wasn't just US oil and gas companies anymore. Russian hackers infected the software updates that reached the industrial controllers inside hydroelectric dams, nuclear power plants, pipelines, and the grid, and were now inside the very computers that could unleash the locks at the dams, trigger an explosion, or shut down power to the grid. This was all the way back in 2013. From my read, this is very likely the reason why the US did nothing when they annexed Crimea in the first place. And that was very likely the reason why they did this, not to strike the US, but to hold it hostage. And you've never heard about it because the entire cyber warfare game is completely secret. 99% of Americans don't even know that this stuff is going on. This is more than a decade old at this point. This book is seriously mind-blowing, and it's written by Nicole Perlroth, who was the lead New York Times reporter on cybercrime for about a decade, and now she's consulting the government. She first got involved in cyber journalism when the Snowden leaks happened, and then she started tracing and uncovering and digging into the history of cyber warfare, and holy shit, it is such a story. This book is filled with interviews with secret hackers who have never gone on record before, filled with anecdotes from people that were in rooms that no one has ever talked about before. And if you read this book, it will completely change your perspective on everything that's happening in the world today. Because everything is based on technology, and technology is fundamentally hackable. And I was right when I made that last video. World War III is gonna be fought in cyberspace, not with conventional military forces. Because America is extremely vulnerable to cyber attacks and has been all along. And this book clearly details how and why that is true. And it is very affordable to hire contract hackers in the open markets, the black markets, and do whatever you want. It's been going on for decades already, right underneath our noses, and most of us have no idea. I'm serious. Check this book out. I'm gonna keep making videos about it. This is a big deal.